Okay, let's see
Alright.
here. The caption, blah, blah. Let me restart it. Okay, now I don't know where the heck the questions are at. You minute.
So,
Okay, what got you interested in tech at such a young age? Was there a specific moment or person that pushed you in the direction?
all right. Thank you very much for the question. I would say that I never really, when I went into tech, I never really knew what I was going into was tech. So it started quite funny actually when my brother and we wanted to start a business, and I thought, how could we promote this business online? So basically, what I was doing was searching how can I run advertisement online? How could I create a website? So basically, through YouTube videos, I was learning. It was only years later I realized that oh, there's actually something called tech, and that is what I'm doing. And then I decided to actually become more serious, started learning more. So initially, it was never really about maybe joining because now it's kind of like a trending topic that everyone wants to go into tech. But to me, I would say it was more unconventional in the sense that it was just out of desire to market a small business that we were setting up as a then. So yeah, that was what. And also, I remember there was someone, my manager, um, in one of the first jobs I got when I was 15 years old. I was working as a marketer where I had to go to different shops every day. So it was basically like a daily savings job where I have to go to different business owners to get their daily savings. And I realized that I didn't like working in order to market, and I was looking for an easier alternative. And that was pretty much how I started digital marketing.
Very, very cool. Very, very cool. Okay, starting something new at 17 couldn't have been easy. What were some of the biggest challenges you faced, and how did you manage to go through that?
Okay, yeah, definitely. When I went into tech, I would say one of the major challenges I faced was not getting the required support I needed, especially when it comes to parents. You know, for most people, they already have your career path planned out for you. Maybe they want you to study medicine or they want you to study law, as the case may be. Right. So in my case, I was studying biochemistry in university, and I was already going into tech. And then I would tell my mom that I think this is what I want to do, even after graduation. And then she would feel like she would ask me, "Is it the online learning you are taking that you want to actually use to sustain yourself?" So I would say that also was like a factor, but slowly by slowly, they began to realize that that so-called online thing was beginning to fetch me some money, and I was beginning to take care of myself in school. And then, they started warming up towards what I was doing then. And I would say another challenge that I really faced was not really having like a mentor, or I never really went through the traditional learning process because nowadays you see a lot of people who just enroll for a 6 month course in maybe UI UX design, and they have a mentor that takes them through an internship and things like that. But that was never my case. I had to figure out a lot of things by myself. And so it was basically YouTube. And even when I got my my first job in tech, I realized that I made a big mess of the job. And that was because I never really had anyone telling me this is what you should do or this is what you should not do. So I would say those were some of the challenges that I faced. And yeah, pretty much. But at the end of the day, I just realized that through learning, through mistakes, I started learning and I started getting better. So I would say that was what.
So I have to say this. Most people don't like their job these day and ages because of either the pay or the bosses and stuff like that. but it sounds like the way you're just rambling on and on and on about it, it just said a very, very passionate subject that you have of, which is great. I mean, I can remember myself when I was your age, let's see, 15, we had the World Wide Web out and we could do the searches and stuff like that. And then the flip phones, blah, 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 blah. And then the notebooks and all that stuff. Now you can see how today turns out. Now you can basically search anything in the world and find out about it. The media is always on top of stuff. You know, where's the biggest storm at and all the stuff for who's traveling, how many people are traveling this weekend for the holidays and all that other stuff. Great
Yeah,
answers. Thank you. Appreciate that.
yeah. Thank you very
Now,
much.
5 more to go. Can you tell us about the first time you felt like, wow, I'm really making progress? What was that moment like for you?
Okay, so I think I would say that was probably 3 years into 2 years into my journey in tech, and so we started this dropshipping business, and that was in 2019. So basically, we're getting products from China, and then we have our own website where we brand them as our own products, and we sell to maybe European countries at a higher price. So that was pretty much what we were doing then for the dropshipping business. So I remember I had created a website and also I had set up my sales funnel and everything like that. So I started running the ads, but even after weeks, even up to a month, right, we never got a sale. So the website was posted on Shopify. So I remember one day I was in my room in school. I just woken up, preparing for lectures, and then I just got a notification on my phone, and when I checked my phone, it was the very first sale that we made. I still remember it was $25. I mean, but then I was like, I was on top of the world because that was like months of work that has been put into just getting that first sale. So I felt like this was it. And ever since then, I still remember the first sale that I made even years ago, and that keeps me going. Now, whenever I realize that I'm down or I'm facing certain challenges, I still remember that at the end of the day, it can be worth it. So, that always keeps me going. I've had many other instances where I felt like, I'm on the right direction. There was also in, I think, 2021 or so, I got into a job as the head of media buying in a digital marketing agency. So basically, I was working with e-commerce businesses, helping them reach more people. So at that point, it was a luxury wristwatch brand. So when I got onboarded, they had their entire marketing strategy figured out already. But after I revamped the ad copies, the creatives, and everything, so I was able to achieve like an 8x return on ad spend. So usually they were averaging just 1 point something return on ad spend, but I was able to like give them better value for their money, meaning for every $1 they spent, they were getting $8 in return. And I never really increased their ad budget. So I remember then my manager was fascinated, everyone was fascinated on how I was able to achieve that. And moments like that keeps me going. Whenever I see a client satisfied, a client thanking me that they've been able to achieve their revenue goals and things like that, or whenever I see someone being appreciative of a very nice website that they have. So all these things, I would say it's a continuous journey, basically, and that is why I love the job because I always get the opportunity to see the impact of my work firsthand.
Wow. Okay. And if you don't mind me asking, how old are you now?
How old am I?
Yes.
Oh yeah, I'm 24 years now.
Okay. It's amazing how you get young and then you get older. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay. So, how did you stay focused and motivated as you grew in your field, especially with so much competition out there?
So one thing I would say, um, yes, I realized that like I started earlier, I said tech is almost becoming like a trendy topic now, and everyone is transitioning into tech. Everyone wants to learn UI. Everyone wants to learn website design. But I never really consider them as competitors because even last year I started my own company and it's upskill. So basically, I also train people on tech. So I'm actually an advocate that if you want to jump on it, you jump on it because I always love to believe that there's more than enough room for everyone to swim. So, but I would say, one thing that gives me satisfaction, even just as I was explaining earlier, or one thing that keeps me motivated is the results I get from clients. So whenever I realize that a client is being satisfied, I'm happy, right? Because at the end of the day, that is what I signed up for. But even amidst all the competition, I think it was 2 years ago, I started switching more into the social sector. So instead of doing solely for profit, I started also considering how I can make an impact in the life of even people who could not probably afford a normal training. And I remember it was in 2021 where I worked better for the Ashimi's business program. Here, I trained over 600 small female business owners on how to use digital tools to scale up their business. So I would say that really brought me immense satisfaction and motivation that, actually there's so much that can be done in people's lives that even probably wouldn't get that training or wouldn't get that skill elsewhere. So for me, I would say it's not solely for profit but it's also for the impact of the good that I can do. And I think that really what makes the difference in my life right now.
Oh, great answer. Great answer. Yes. When whether you're a Nigerian or American, we're always facing competition against each other. There's a great big competition. Like for me, there's another teacher at another the same school just interviewed me weeks ago on his podcast show, which was pretty cool. And I found out a way of how to get more subscribers because of what he told me. There's like get feedback off other people, but then also beat them in a competition with their own ideas. So it's one of those things that's very, very competitive. All right, 1 minute. For young people trying to figure out their path, what advice would you give them about starting something new or taking that first step?
So I would say when it comes to starting something new, I would say there are two things. Firstly, you have to believe in yourself. You need to believe in yourself first because most times other people don't see you. You know, people might say you are crazy for wanting to jump into this or wanting to jump into that, but you are the one that saw the vision. And this is something that I remember we've been told every time while I was in India, just like almost throughout this year, and that most people would not see your vision, but you have to be the one to champion. You need to be your greatest cheerleader, because at the end of the day, other people might finally see it, but initially you need to just believe in yourself. And secondly, I would say don't go for the money first. Yeah, because if it's always about the money, then you might lose it. And I've seen it a lot in tech. You see a lot of people, even these institutions that are coming up every time, they'll tell you start making maybe $50,000 per year in tech in your first year or $100,000 in your first year. But 9 out of 10 cases never really that easy for you to just start earning tech immediately. So you see a lot of youths these days just saying, "Oh, I want to learn website design so that I can make money." So in Nigeria, it's like a trendy topic where anyone that wants to become rich immediately says they want to go into tech, and at the end of the day, they don't have the patience to see it through because they went in with the wrong mindset. They went in with the mindset that I just want to make money. So when I started my journey in tech, it was never really about the money. And I remember even after I took some courses, some YouTube videos and all, I never really applied for a job to start with. I went on some some freelancing platforms like Acadium. So there I was working for free basically. So I was working as an apprentice and I was just getting the knowledge. I was building expertise. I was getting my portfolio. So it's never really about the money. It was about building competence in my field. And I would say those experiences really helped me, really shaped me. It gave me confidence for even when I started applying for jobs. So I would say, firstly, you need to believe in your dream. And secondly, make sure you're going in for the right intentions. Because if you go in for the wrong reasons, then you might, you might miss it because you might not be patient enough. So to me, it's more about passion. So even if I'm stuck a week trying to figure out something, I know that once I figure it out, then I'm a better person tomorrow. So it's never really, yeah, I mean, definitely I get paid for it. I wouldn't even say, I mean, if you want to come into the tech, there's probably some money, but you have to come in with the right mindset and definitely achieve something good.
Okay, very, very interesting. Very, very interesting. Okay, second to last question. Looking back now, is there anything you would do differently? What are you most proud of when you think about your journey so far?
Okay, so yeah, looking back, I think there are actually a lot of things I would do differently. And I mean, because I think that is also one of the things that you learn. So I realized that during my during my entire career, most times I was taking the longer road. But if only I had someone to show me that, instead of walking 2 kilometers, you can actually just walk 500 meters or something like that. And there are many cases. I remember the very first campaign I ever ran on Meta. I had a very crazy ad spend, and it was about $50 per thousand impressions. And as at then, the average should be like $5. So I was like over 100% higher, not even 500% higher, right? So if I had a mentor, someone who was already there before, just telling me, okay, maybe this is what you do, this is what you should do, I think it would have really helped me in the long run. And that is why even in my training where I do, I always try to mentor my graduates for at least 6 months after they go to the program. And I also help place these people in internship because I realized that even when I went into my first job, I never really had a knowledge on how things should be structured. And that was because I never went to the conventional learning system. So I would say, yeah, definitely if I should go back, I would find someone who could give me advice, tell me, this is what you should do. Because I believe that, you know, it could be something as simple as don't watch this YouTube video because this YouTube video is crap, right? And it will save you probably 2 hours watching a YouTube video that you not get anything from, right? So, having a mentor goes a very long way. And I think that is one area that I could have gotten better. Then also another mistake I made was not joining a community. So as much as I never had a mentor, but I was pretty much working alone all the time. I never really had peers that could motivate me or things like that. Anyone that could share my struggles. And I've realized that there's a power in the community, right? So people who can understand where you are. So I think if I had another opportunity, yeah, definitely I would definitely want to have that community. Then for the second part of your question, what am I proud of so far? If I got it right. What am I proud of so far in my journey? And I would say everything. I would say firstly, I'm very proud with how I started, and I would say that is still what I'm most proud of because even sometimes when I look back to myself, my 15-year-old self or my 17-year-old self, I'm always impressed with the kind of decisions he made. I realized that I was reading a book from Brian Tracy, and it was called No Excuse. I remember then I was 15 years old. So after reading this book, I just decided, you know, I can't be whining anymore in my house. I needed to take action. So then at the age of 15, I told my parents that I wanted to go to Lagos, that I wanted to get a job to support my family. So I'm still impressed with how just a little book was able to motivate 15-year-old to leave the state and go to another state just to, with the hope of getting a job. So I would say that is what I'm most proud of. But every day I can see the transformation, I can see the impact I'm making. Another thing I'm proud of is also the fact that I decided to go into the social sector, starting my own organization. So just this year, I also fully launched my own organization where I train people from my vision to also um, have a better life. So I would say, yeah, pretty much these are some of the things I'm proud of.
Okay, final question. Interesting answers and a perspective on life in itself. Everybody has a vision for their future. What are you going to do in the next 5 years? Here's what the next question is, the last one. Okay, so what's next for you? Where do you see yourself going in the next few years, and what keeps you excited about the future?
Okay. Thank you very much for the question. So I would say, um, yeah, I'm pretty much excited about my future. I think I just have to say that first. And when it comes to what's next for me, I think it's actually time for me to focus on my non-profit organization which I started, which is called Tech for Rural. So basically, I launched it in um, recently this year while I was in India, and it's all about right now. I feel like as much as I'm earning, it's also good that I also help other people or make a mark in a way. So then I started my organization, and at Tech for Rural, we also um, as much as we train young people in technological skills, which they can use economically to sustain themselves, we also use technology as a tool to create advocacy for the oil spillages that is going on in my region. So basically, we are mobilizing these youth so they can use digital skills to create advocacy for the environmental destruction going on in our region. And I'm pretty much excited to see how it's all going to turn out, in the next 5 years. It's my dream that, so there's a saying from where I come from. A lot of people say people from Bayelsa State, they are quite lazy and they are not industrious. So, it's actually my hope that in the next 5 years, that perception changes from we are not industrious to we are actually people who can stand to take action. We are actually people who can, be well-meaning. And this is my vision for Tech for Rural. And in the next 5 years, I really want to see that through our advocacy, through grassroots activism, can actually hold some of these corporate organizations to account for the environmental damage that has happened in our region. So I would say that is quite my goal now, but definitely I'll stick with freelancing. But I think I'm looking towards more seeing impact that Tech for Rural can make in the lives of youth in Bayelsa and the Niger Delta, and also how we can hold these companies account for a greener environment for us, because at the end of the day, everyone deserves a cleaner environment. So this is what I imagine my next 5 years doing. It's gonna be tough, but this is what I signed up for, and I'm smiling every day, waking up happy to actually start this new journey of mine.
Well, Jethro, it was definitely a privilege of having a guest on Industry Illumination and hearing your answers and perspectives of the tech world as we grow great within the technology. And as this comes to an end, I appreciate your time and I hope you have a fabulous remaining evening and holiday season. And thanks again for your insight. Everything was very appreciative today of taking your time this late in the evening in your country. And are you located in Nigeria or India?
No, I'm currently in Nigeria. I came back to Nigeria just 4 days ago. So I'm in Lagos now.
Oh, okay. Wow. That's a big city, pretty crowded people, huh?
Sorry, I didn't get that.
It's a big city. It's crowded. It
Ah,
has a lot of people, right?
have I been here? Have you ever been to Lagos?
No, I have not. I'm imagining that it's like New York City here in or Philadelphia. Philadelphia has 5 million people, and New York City has 10 million people. So,
Uh, yeah, definitely. Lagos is always crowded. You need to leave hours before time just to make sure you don't miss an appointment or something. Quite.
yeah, crazy drivers everywhere too.
Oh, exactly.
All
You know,
right. Well, hey,
I think you need a special skill to drive in this place.
yeah. It's one of those things that come to mind when it's just being around here in Philadelphia with the way people are, with their driving and all the craziness and wherever you go. So, once again, Jethro, we'd like to thank you for getting on the podcast this afternoon, Industry Illumination Show, and taking time out today. Thank you so much, and have a great evening.
Thank you very much so much for your time. I really do appreciate it and also for covering my story.
No problem at all. It will be going up on TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, and anywhere else my productive producers can put it on. So we'll get it out within the hour. And I thank you for your
All
time.
right, great. I look forward to seeing it. Bye.